Hey guys, this is the Writing Prompt channel. Here, we take posts from Reddit and read out loud the best stories with the help of a bot. Enjoy this amazing story. The Writing Prompt by user Coke Bottle Literature. Everyone is assigned a pen at birth. Each person's lifeblood is the ink in the pen. Every promise, no matter how small or insignificant, must be written down with that pen. You can only live while there is ink in the pen, and the ink can't be refilled. Here is the amazing story made with the help of the prompt by user Freesteer. She shakes her pen, frustrated at the lack of ink remaining. Sighing, she thinks back to all of the promises she's made throughout her life with absolutely no regard to the amount of time it would take away from her. Like when she was 8 years old and her best friend promised each other they'd be best friends forever, scrawling the promise onto pieces of paper to exchange to one another. They watched the ink shrink in their pens as they giggled, giddy at the first promise they'd ever written down. Since then there had been plenty of empty promises she'd made. At 18, laying in bed next to her first boyfriend, they wrote down the promise that they'd lose their virginity to one another. Embracing once the ink started to shrink in their pens. "Why would we even bother?" she exclaimed, rolling her eyes. "We were about to lose it to each other anyway." These wasted, empty promises have now ruined her. Constantly chasing the thrill the promises gave her, each one written down was another rush. Swiveling her pen in her hand, she looked at the dwindling amount of ink she has left. "I'm only 25, angry at herself. By her estimate, at the rate she'd been writing her promises, she only had 2 promises left. They would never last her. It wasn't unheard of for people to get to this stage with their ink and saving their promises to the end of their lives. But she knew that wouldn't work for her. This addiction had her writing at least 1 promise a month. Her first promise at 8 had filled her with a rush that she's never been able to fulfill in any other way. The real addiction, chasing the promise rush, started a few years ago and she hadn't been able to stop it. Once a month, she told herself. If she limited herself to once a month, it would still last a lifetime. She let out an exasperated laugh. How stupidly frivolous she had been. Sitting at her desk, she opened her laptop. She started searching for anything to get herself out of this predicament. "I can't go out at 25. It's not fair," she said to herself as she continued her search. How to refill ink? Nothing. Can you get more ink? Quote, nothing. Is it really over when your ink runs out? She shook her head at that one. Such a nonsense thing to ask. All over the news are stories of people each day who had finished their ink. Just last night, a lovely older couple living together in retirement used their last promise on each other. "I promise to be with you forever," they had written on pieces of paper. In the same moment, the ink in their pens ran dry and they left together. She pushed on, refill ink, searching through pages and pages of nothing related to her predicament. It was then she noticed a heading. Through her scrolling there were pages of news articles and printer ink advertisements. But this looked different. She was compelled to click on it. Once on the website it was black, with 5 large words in blue, enticing her to click on them. "Click here, cheap ink refill," they read. Clicking into it, her screen went back and her laptop froze. Noticing that her webcam light had turned on. What? She started to ask herself. A chat box popped up. She couldn't click out. Her laptop wouldn't power down. She was stuck. What is happening? She asked herself out loud. The chat wrote back, "Don't be frightened." This didn't appease her racing heart. "What do you want?" she asked back. "We're here to help you," she scoffed. No one is ever here to help her. Confused, she asked, "But who are you? Please just let me log off. I accidentally clicked in." "We know it's no accident, Charlotte," she gasped. Her hand flew up over her mouth as her stomach dropped. "How do you know my name?" They started typing. "Charlotte, we can get you exactly what you need. A new pen, full of ink, a second chance at life. You just need to decide if you're willing to take it. Her current pen was sitting next to her on her desk. She looked down at it. 2 months left. She pondered what she could do with those 2 months. And if she could squash her addiction enough to prolong the 2 promises she had left. She knew she wouldn't be able to do it. She'd been addicted to the promise rush her whole adult life. That's how she got into this mess in the first place. With those 2 promises left, she knew she only had a maximum of 2 months. What would I have to do for it? She typed back. There's no way she was getting this for free, and she knew it. Charlotte, we need a yes or a no. Her head was spinning and she felt sick. She knew she had no choice. But what was she signing herself up for? She swallowed hard to try and remove the lump that had formed in her throat. Even if it gave her a few more months, she knew it would be worth it. Whatever it was. Her hands shaking, she typed back, "Okay, I'll do it." The chat wrote back, "We'll be in touch." The end. Thank you guys for checking out this channel. Please subscribe, like and share this video. See you in next one. Thank you and goodbye.